ISKCON Samsthapana Acharya, Savior of the whole world, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai Om Vishnupada Nitya Leela Pravishta, His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Nitai Go Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, text number 44. Tasma idam Bhagavatam. Tasma idam Bhagavatam. Puranam Dashalakshanam. Puranam Dashalakshanam. Proktam Bhagavata Praha. Proktam Bhagavata Praha. Pritaha Putraya Bhutakrit. Pritaha Putraya Bhutakrit. Tasma idam Bhagavatam. Puranam Dashalakshanam. Proktam Bhagavata Praha. Pritaha Putraya Bhutakrit. Tasma idam Bhagavatam. Puranam Dashalakshanam. Proktam Bhagavata Praha. Pritaha Putraya Bhutakrit. Tasma idam Bhagavatam. Puranam Dashalakshanam. Proktam Bhagavata Praha. Pritaha Putraya Bhutakrit. Jai Ki Jai Gauranga Ki.
Tasmaidam Bhagavatam. Puranam Dashalakshanam. Proktam Bhagavata Praha. Prita Putraya Bhutakrit.
Tasmaidam Bhagavatam. Puranam Dashalakshanam. Proktam Bhagavata Praha. Prita Putraya Bhutakrit. Tasmaidam Bhagavatam. Puranam Dashalakshanam. Proktam Bhagavata Praha. Prita Putraya Bhutakrit.
Tasmaidam Bhagavatam. Puranam Dashalakshanam. Proktam Bhagavata Praha. Pitraha Putraya Bhutakrit.
Tasmaidam Bhagavatam. Puranam Dashalakshanam. Proktam Bhagavata Praha. Pita Putraya Bhutakrit.
पुत्राय भूतकृत
Tasmai, thereupon, idam, this, Bhagavatam, the glories of the Lord, or the signs of the Lord, Puranam, Vedic supplement, Dashalakshanam, 10 characteristics, Proktam, described, Bhagavata, by the personality of Godhead, Praha, said, Pritaha, in satisfaction, Putraya, unto the Son, Bhutakrit, the creator of the universe. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Thereupon, the supplementary Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, which was described by the personality of Godhead and which contains 10 characteristics, was told with satisfaction by the Father Brahma to his son Narada. Translation with repetition. Thereupon, the supplementary Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, which was described by the personality of Godhead and which contains 10 characteristics, was told with satisfaction by the Father Brahma to his son Narada. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Although the Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken in 4 verses, it had 10 characteristics, which will be explained in the next chapter. In the 4 verses, it is first said that the Lord existed before the creation, and thus the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam includes the Vedanta aphorism, Janmadhyasya. Janmadhyasya is the beginning, yet the 4 verses in which it is said that the Lord is the root of everything that be, beginning from the creation up to the supreme abode of the Lord, naturally explains the 10 characteristics. One should not misunderstand by wrong interpretations that the Lord spoke only 4 verses and that therefore all the rest of the 17,994 verses are useless. The 10 characteristics, as will be explained in the next chapter, requires so many verses just to explain them properly. Brahmaji had also advised Narada previously that he should expand the idea he had heard from Brahmaji. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed this to Srila Rupa Goswami in a nutshell. But the disciple Rupa Goswami expanded this very elaborately, and the same subject was further expanded by Jiva Goswami and even further by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura. We are just trying to follow in the footsteps of all these authorities. So Srimad Bhagavatam is not like ordinary fiction or mundane literature. It is unlimited in strength, and however one may expand it according to one's ability, Bhagavatam still cannot be finished by such expansion. Srimad Bhagavatam, being the sound representation of the Lord, is simultaneously explained in 4 verses and in 4 billion verses. all the same, inasmuch as the Lord is smaller than the atom and bigger than the unlimited sky. Such is the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So it's a very nice verse and a very nice purport by Srila Prabhupada. Tasma idam Bhagavatam Puranam Dashalakshanam. Bhagavatam Puranam Dashalakshanam. The Bhagavatam has 10 characteristics. According to Sanskrit literature rules, a Purana has to be a Purana. It has to have 10 characteristics. It has to have 10 subjects. So that will be explained in the next chapter. What are the 10 subject matters that are described in the Srimad Bhagavatam? So it's, in other words, it's not some kind of a random fiction or some kind of a light stuff. These are very systematically composed literatures. So there are rules. If something has to be called a kavya, something has to be called a Purana, there are Sanskrit rules. If it does not conform to those rules, it does not qualify to be called a Purana, Mahapurana, Kavya, Mahakavya. These are all characteristics, they're all described as part of the Sanskrit literature system. So, idam Bhagavatam Puranam Dashalakshanam. This Bhagavatam Puranam has 10 characteristics. And it is Bhagavata Proktam. It was spoken by the Lord Himself. So, just like Bhagavad Gita is Bhagavata Proktam. Shri Bhagavan Vacha, it says. And hence it gains authority. Again and again. Vyasadeva could have said Shri Krishna Vacha. But again and again he repeats Shri Bhagavan Vacha. So that we are conscious that these are statements made by Bhagavan. Suppose we are discussing some subject matter, some legal subject matter, and then we have amidst us a retired Supreme Court judge. So many of us may give different opinions about some issue. Then this retired Supreme Court judge says, oh, it has special value. Common people may give some opinion. But if a retired Supreme Court judge gives an opinion, he says something, so that has to be taken a little more carefully. So, in the same way, Bhagavan Uvacha, Bhagavata Proktam. And then this Bhagavatam, Idam Bhagavatam, Puranam Dasalakshanam, Bhagavata Proktam, Puranam, Bhagavata Proktam, Dasalakshanam, Puranam, Dasalakshanam, Bhagavatam, Puranam. Bhutakrit Putraya Praha. Bhutakrit, the creator of the universe. Bhuta, material manifestation, material creation. Bhutakrit is the creator of the material universe, and that's Lord Brahma. Bhutakrit Putraya Praha. He spoke to his son. Praha spoke. He said to his son, that is Brahma, spoke this to Narada. And how did he speak? He spoke with a sort of like an official way, a mechanical way. No. Pritaha Putraya Praha. With great delight, with great satisfaction. With satisfaction, he spoke. So, thereupon, Tasmai, the supplementary Vedic literature, Puranam. Puranam means supplementary. It supplements the understanding of the Vedas. It completes. Right? That's the sense of the word Puranam. So Prabhupada has used the word supplementary Vedic literature. Puranam, Srimad Bhagavatam, which was described by the personality of Godhead, Bhagavata Proktam, and which contains 10 characteristics. Dasalakshanam Puranam was told, Praha, with satisfaction, Pritaha Praha, by the father Brahma, Bhutakrit Praha, to his son Narada. Putraya Praha, Bhutakrit Putraya Pritaha Putraya Praha. So that's the verse. And very nicely Prabhupada has described that how Bhagavatam was described, because this chapter is about the 4 verses. Aham evasam evagre, etc. The 4 verses which are considered to be the seed verses of the Bhagavatam. And that, just like a seed, you take a banyan tree seed, from that seed a huge tree can come. See the potency of the seed? It can manifest a whole tree, huge tree, which lives for maybe 100 years or longer. That small seed had that potency. In the same way, the 4 seed verses of the Bhagavatam. That's why Acharyas have written elaborate commentaries. Prabhupada also wrote long commentaries on the 4 verses each. It's pregnant with meaning. It is full of it. It has such potency. So that 4 verses of the Bhagavatam was expanded. That was one of the instructions Brahma gave Narada. Lord spoke to Brahma, Brahma spoke to Narada, and he told Narada, you expand this. Vipuli kuru. Tvametat vipuli kuru. Vipula means expand, enrich. You make it, amplify it. So, this is a very interesting principle of parampara. How this is a knowledge. It is, Prabhupada says that this knowledge is not just parrot repetition. It is with understanding. Like sometimes parrot you can teach, it will repeat. Whatever you say, it will repeat. Is the parrot understanding anything? No guarantee. So, in Vedic literature, in the Vedic tradition, also we repeat. We are not supposed to change anything. This is the training that Srila Prabhupada gave. We are supposed to repeat, but repeat with understanding, with conviction, with whatever experience and perception we have also achieved by our sadhana, by the mercy of Guru. And we speak with confidence, we speak with conviction. So, it is not like parrot repetition. And it is expanded. It is expanded not with this in the sense of an attempt by the speaker to show his erudition, to display his erudition. Oh, I am so learned, now I am explaining. See how nicely I can. If that spirit is there in the heart of a speaker, it defeats the purpose. It pollutes the purpose. That's why in the 6th chapter of the Gita, Krishna explains yoga. It is the Ashtanga yoga. Yama, Niyama, Pratyahara, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, etc. And then, in the end of the chapter, and towards the end of the chapter, Krishna says, yoga is better than jnana. Yoga is better than tapasya. Yoga is better than karma. Tasmat yogi bhava arjuna. Karmibhyas-chadiko yogi jnanibhyas-mato adhikaha. Tapasvibhyo adhiko yogi tasmat yogi bhava arjuna. So Krishna said that yoga is better than tapasya, jnana and karma. Because yoga, why is it? Yoga is in connection with the Lord, in understanding the Lord, in understanding our relationship with Him. Just like you see how Prabhupada translates these words so nicely. Bhagavatam in this particular verse. Bhagavatam, the glories of the Lord, or the signs of the Lord. This is not some sentiment about God. This is not some belief about God. This is signs of God. It is a scientific reality. God is not a figment of imagination of a believer. And it is left to the option of people. That's not the way Srila Prabhupada taught us about Krishna. It is a science. Science means, like for instance, water is made of hydrogen and oxygen. This is not a belief. We believe it is like that. Someone else can have another belief. No, there is no option. It is made of, it is description of reality. It's made of hydrogen and oxygen mixed in a certain proportion. Because that's describing reality. That's why it is called science. It is true in India, it's true in America, it's true in Africa, it's true for Hindus, it is true for Christians. This is a description of reality that has no boundaries of nationality or religion, because it is trying to describe things as it is. That's what science is supposed to do. So when we say this is the science of God, we are saying that this is not just some limited understanding of some one particular religious people. Some other religious people can have another understanding. It's also okay, no problem. No. So, yoga is about science of God, understanding the glories of God, understanding our relationship with God. And hence, yogi, somebody who is trying to appreciate, trying to understand, trying to experience, trying to perceive, trying to feel the presence of Lord, he is higher than karmi, tapasvi, jnani. Tapasvi means one who practices severe austerities. Tapasya. Tapasya means a certain amount of discomfort for the sake of spiritual advancement that we voluntarily take. So that is called tapasya. And there are tapasvis who practice severe tapasya. Like sometimes in Kumbh Mela we have seen a yogi, a tapasvi standing on one leg, and they say he's standing on one leg last 25 years. Quite a task. To stand on two legs for 25 years also is difficult. What to speak of stand on one leg? 25 minutes, you say. We want to sit. So see how they take tapasya. So, very nicely Prabhupada explains this. Tapasya is meant for self-knowledge. Tapasya is meant for Atma-Gyan. Brahma also underwent tapasya, and then he underwent tapasya, and then he was enlightened with Atma-Gyan. Why Atma-Gyan is important? Because we must know who we are. If we are talking about our relation with God, we must know who we are, and we must also know who is God, and we must know what is the relationship. If we don't have Atma-Gyan, if we don't know who we are, then we are trying to understand my wrong understanding of Aham and my relation, wrong understanding of mine, with God. It is a futile exercise. If I am thinking I am my coat and I am trying to understand my relation with God, I am trying to understand my coat's relation with God. What happened to me? Coat I may discard, I may take off the coat. It's a dress after all. So first we must know who we are. The body is a garment, is a coat for the soul. So understanding the soul, understanding the nature of the soul, understanding who we are, that's primary for yoga. So yoga, tapasya is meant for self-knowledge, Atma-Vidya, Atma-Gyan. And jnana leads to Sharanagati. Jnana is meant to lead to Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. Prapadhi means to surrender. Prapadyate. After many lifetime of cultivation of knowledge, one surrenders to me. So, this knowledge about, of course it includes Atma Vidya, Atma Gyan, who I am. And so I am here in this world. I come into this world. I am born as a small baby. And then with time, this body keeps growing. Right? It keeps growing. And that's what we have all experienced. And then it grows and becomes older. And one day it dies. So this is what is happening. And for me, when I'm existing in this world, I'm taking so much benefit of so many things, like air. If we don't breathe, few minutes we will die. We are taking advantage of air, we are taking advantage of water, we are taking advantage of sunlight. Like now we are all waiting when there will be sunlight. Cold in winter. We are taking advantage of earth. And the earth is rotating. If earth is not rotating, we'll have permanent night or permanent daytime. It's not very congenial, it's not very suitable. It is not good for agriculture. Like say, remember we all as children, I don't know if you have, who all have played, we have all played top. You have played Amanda? No. Put it round as a string and then throw it and then it starts spinning, right? And if you're expert, you can do it like this also. Like all these, I don't think these generation children play that. They'll only play with the mobile app. Like that. So recently somebody gifted me one top. I said, hey, what are you doing? I said, Prabhu, I saw this in the store somewhere. I thought it was very unique, so I bought this. Unique. All right. So you play the top, and then you see the top is spinning on the nail for a few seconds, and then it keeps wobbling, and then it stops, it falls down. Look at the big top Krishna has created called the earth. It's spinning and spinning and spinning. It's not wobbling. You don't have to worry about it. Pretty stable. And it's not going to stop. And I'm taking advantage of this spinning earth. You see, to make the earth, the top spin, how much? It's actually right. We study in science. Potential energy converted into kinetic energy. We do all those things is happening there. So, now for this earth, to push it. There's one story, I don't know if you heard about it. Suddenly one day, it's a fable. Suddenly they found earth had stopped rotating. And it was 8 o'clock, stuck at 8 o'clock in some place. Some place it was stuck at 12 noon. Some place it was stuck at 12 midnight. And after that it's not moving at all. All the leaders of the world, they started calling each other, we should do something to spin it back again. Otherwise we'll have serious problems in the world. Ecological problems, environmental problems, all kinds of problems. What can we do to spin it back, to make it spin? Is it possible? Huge earth. It's not humanly, collectively, we cannot use, there's no technology that exists to make it spin this. You see? So we are taking advantage of all this. And food is a result of sunlight, air, water, earth, and the seed. You see how much we are taking advantage. Now, when we are taking advantage of all these things, and then we see, oh, there is someone has made this arrangement. When you recognize that there is somebody who has made this arrangement, when you start recognizing that yes, there is such a great creation, I am also part of that creation, and the Creator has done it like this, then a more mature, a more evolved, more refined understanding is, oh, I am taking all these benefits. I should know about that Creator and what is His intention. He is giving me all these things and I should align myself with that intention. That aligning ourselves with the intention of the Creator is called Sharanagati. That is a more deeper aspect of recognition. We may say, I recognize God, but I do what I want. Whatever God wants, that's okay. I have my plans. That's the spirit of Karma Kanda portion of the Vedic religion. Where you recognize God. God is provider of all these things. But I have my plan. I'll recognize God, I'll seek God's blessing, I'll take God's mercy and have my plan. When we stop having our plan and recognize God, take mercy of God, take the blessings of God, I want to act according to the desire of God, according to the plan of God, that's called Sharanagati. That's what happened to Arjuna, you see. He was saying, Krishna had planned the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjuna said, no, I don't want to fight. They're all my cousins, my teachers, my grandfather. Oh boy, if I win the kingdom also, without them, how will I enjoy the kingdom? So I don't want to fight. Then Krishna explained the situation of the battle, situation of the universe, situation of Krishna, situation of Arjuna. And then when Arjuna understood, he said, all right, I'll fight. I'll do what you want. You see, this is Sharanagati. So knowledge is meant to lead to Sharanagati. Tapasya meant to lead to self-knowledge. And what is the third one? Karma. Karma is meant for pleasing the Lord. Samsiddhi haritoshanam dharmasvanushtitha pumsa vishvakshenu kathasuya notpadyate yadiratim shamayeva hi kevalam. One performance of duty, dharmasvanushtitha pumsa. Dharma means duty. There is a duty of a Kshatriya, duty of a Brahmana, duty of a Vaishya, duty of a... That is doing the duty. The duty is actually the karma. It is meant for haritoshanam. So if it is not resulting in haritoshanam, shramayeva hi kevalam. It is simply a futile waste of time, waste of effort. So that is why Krishna is placing yoga higher than karma, jnana and tapasya. Prabhupada explains this in the purport of that verse. Karmabhyo adhiko yogi, tapasvibhyo adhiko yogi. And tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. Hence be a yogi under all circumstances. After saying that, in the next verse, Krishna reveals something even more serious. Yoginam api sarvesha. First, Krishna placed yoga higher than jnana, tapasya and karma. And then he says, among the yogis also there are bands. Yoginam api sarvesha madgatena antaratmana. Antaratmana madgatena. That is why bhakti, Krishna consciousness, is a deep heart surgery. Not just a superficial practice. It is to go into the antaratma of ourselves. Nobody can go into the antaratma. We ourselves have to try to go into the antaratmana madgatena. To be devoted, to be dedicated to Krishna at the depth of our own hearts. That's why Prabhupada many times explained Krishna consciousness requires sincerity. Chant sincerely, Prabhupada used to say many times. Do our service sincerely. It is to, am I doing this chanting? Am I doing because Prabhu, senior Prabhu in the temple will otherwise come and wake me up and disturb me and question me. Am I chanting only for that sake? Or antaratmana I am chanting? I am doing this service because it's part of the, we have to do, otherwise we are eating prasadam, what else? Or we are doing this antaratmana. See, so Krishna consciousness is about antaratmana madgatena. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yoma same yuktatamo mataha. Such a yogi is a yuktatama mataha. Yuktatama yogi, highest yogi. So, why did I bring that up? Anyway. Okay. All right. In the 4 verses, so it is full of the 4 verses that Krishna spoke to Brahma has been expanded into many verses. So Prabhupada is saying that one should not think that only the 4 verses are important and the rest of the verses of the 18,000 verses of the Bhagavatam are unimportant. No, this is not correct. Where is the watch? What's the time? Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay. So, it is this expansion by the great devotees is a bona fide way of expanding that understanding. Brahma expanded. Brahma received only 4 verses. But when he understood, this is the thing, this is the situation, he expanded that to Narada. And he told Narada, you expand this further. Narada expanded that further to Vyasa. Vyasa further expanded that to his son Shukadeva. And Shukadeva expanded that to the sages of Naimisharanya. And when Shukadeva was expanding that to sages of Naimisharanya, one of the audience who was seated there was Vyasa again. The guru and the father was also sitting and hearing how nicely my son is describing. You see? Actually, these are all, that's why that word pritaha, these are all great personalities. They are in great love of the Lord. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Prabhupada says, if we can acquire that qualification of priti purvakam, full of priti, pritaha. When you have pritaha, then the description of the glories, of the activities of the Lord will be so relishing. Ramanti cha, tushyanti cha, ramanti cha. That's how great devotees are. So, Vyasadeva had taught this to Shukadeva, And Shukadev himself was a Atmavatam Varam. He was the foremost among the self-realized souls. And so how he realized this and how he is going to describe this to the sages of Naimisharanya. Shukadev Goswami exposed this to Parikshit. And at that time Suta Goswami was there. And Suta Goswami further expanded to the sages of Naimisharanya. I think I made a mistake. So anyway, when Shukadev Goswami was speaking, Vyasa was also sitting there. And Vyasa heard Shukadeva speaking that. And Vyasa, when he compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam, he wrote from the point of view of the conversation between Suta and the sages of Naimisharanya. So like this, the knowledge has been passed on, but it has been expanded, enriched, amplified with more realization, with more details, and it has been explained. And then Prabhupada says, in the same way, this Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained this. Actually, there are two important conversations. There are more than two. At least two. Okay, there are more than two, definitely. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to Sanatan Goswami in Kashi. For 2 months, Duimase. For 2 months, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again explained to Rupa Goswami for 10 days in Prayag. So, Rupa Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to Rupa Goswami in 10 days in a nutshell. And that's why Rupa Goswami expanded that one and he wrote 80 books. Some 70, 80 books they wrote. All these Goswamis wrote so many books. See how the expansion happens. And then Rupa Goswami, what he wrote, further expanded by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura. There is a, Rupa Goswami wrote the book Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And then, I think it is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura who expanded that, and he said, what I have expanded is only a small drop. This can be further expanded. So this is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu. You see how these great acharyas are. So like this it has been expanded, and now Srila Prabhupada, instead of doing it in Sanskrit, which none of us are so familiar with, you see, all of us are Indians sitting here, sitting in India. We are speaking a foreign language, discussing this in the foreign language. This is reality. This is reality of the world. English is prevalent all over the world. It has become like that. English colonies were established, English religion, language was established, was taught. And so we all got trained in English, and so Prabhupada now expanded that knowledge in English language so that the whole world can benefit from this. This is what is happening. And hence, this is the way of expanding the understanding of this knowledge. And Prabhupada concludes very nicely. Prabhupada uses this two places Prabhupada uses this word. One is, it is unlimited in strength. Srimad Bhagavatam is unlimited in strength. And then the purport ends by using the word, such is the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam. Strength, potency. There's a certain potency in this literature. And it is because of that spiritual potency. Srimadaatatam. Srimad. The word Srimad means full of potency. Srimadaatatam bhuvi grunanti. Bhuvi grunanti. Atatam bhuvi grunanti. Means this knowledge is spread all over the world also. Tava kathamrutam tapta jivanam shravana mangalam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham Srimadaatatam. So Srimad means it is full of spiritual potency. Prabhupada explains in one place, he's talking about the importance of parampara. How we have to receive this knowledge from the parampara. Prabhupada says, when we receive the knowledge from in the parampara, not only the knowledge is passed down, it's the spiritual potency of the knowledge is also passed down. And when that potency touches a sincere seeker, it will enlighten the soul. It is that spiritual potency has to touch. So, this is the potency, the strength, Srimad of this Bhagavatam. And hence, it is being expanded like this, and we must take advantage of this. What I was trying to recall was, this is the principle of the Bhagavatam, that principle of parampara, you repeat with understanding, with knowledge, with sincerity, and with purity. Then the Lord manifests that spiritual potency from the speaker to the hearer. That is why Prabhupada forbade us that we should not hear from a professional reciter of the Bhagavatam who is making a business of it, or who's making a business. Is it that only those Bhagavatkaras are doing business? We should be careful whether we are also doing business in our own way. What is our intent of speaking the Gita or the Bhagavatam? Antaratmana. Not so easy. We have to, that is why it requires sadhana to purify our intention. If sadhana is not there, we cannot purify our intention. We will be doing all these things. Internally, some other thing will be running in our heart. That is not pleasing to Krishna and Guru. This is the struggle that a devotee has to go through. I want to be a devotee sincerely. Not easy. That sincerity is a rare thing. So, such sincere, so a devotee, so this knowledge is expanded not for erudition, not to demonstrate the erudition of the speaker, but with a sincere desire, I must please the Lord. And how wonderful it is to explain the Lord's situation and the Lord's glories. That should be the feeling. So, it comes after many years of sadhana. It's not so easy. We have to keep struggling. By the mercy of Guru and Gauranga and Krishna, we will be able to get that antaratmana, madgaten antaratmana. Krishna consciousness is about that. And so, these are some of, and then Prabhupada concludes by saying, very nice, Srimad Bhagavatam being the sound representation of the Lord. You see, the Lord is represented in this material world in multiple ways. Vigraha is one representation of the Lord. Nama is a representation of the Lord. Prasadam is a representation of the Lord. Bhakta is a representation of the Lord. So, when the living entity comes in touch with these various representations of the Lord, even accidentally, the living entity acquires what is called Agnata Sukruti. You've heard this story? There was a husband and wife, they were fighting, they were quarreling one day. And then the husband said, the wife said, I'm not going to cook today. And the husband said, even if you cook, I will not eat today. And that day, the wife did not cook, and the husband did not eat, and that day was Ekadashi. They got the blessing. They were not thinking of fasting for Ekadashi. Agnatha. You see? Unknowingly acquired Sukruti. Someone was looking for a post office, bank, and somebody said, no, go this way. And that man didn't know, but he said, go this way. So he went there. And then that was also wrong. Then he went another. He kept asking. And then finally he found the bank. But while searching, there was one temple of Krishna. He had done one circumambulation of that temple. He had no desire to do circumambulation of Krishna. So, Prabhupada explains, when a living entity acquires Brahmanda Brahmite, wandering in the universe, acquires Agnata Sukruti like this, and that Agnata Sukruti keeps adding, and that results in good fortune of the jiva, which is manifested as meeting a pure devotee of the Lord. You see how it works? So that is why the Lord's manifestations are there. So temples are important. Yesterday I was reading one article. It came in the newspaper, I think. Very supposed to be some big intellectual. And he's writing that what is happening in the world, everywhere in the world, traffic congestion. It's a terrible thing, right? People are struggling, stuck in the traffic 1 hour, 2 hours, like this. So, how new cities have to be developed, he's explaining. And then he's saying that how cities should be developed in such a way, everything should be available within 15 minutes of walk, or maybe even a public transport, but it should not be more than 15 minutes. Everything that you need, you should get there. Your office should be within 15 minutes. Your home should be there. Mall should be there. Hospital should be there. Train station should be there. Then when I was reading, I was thinking, temple should be there. So that within 15 minutes, they should be able to go to your temple also. So many temples are required. Prabhupada said, I want to establish one Krishna temple in every village in India. How many villages are there in India? Some lakhs of temples are required. It will happen. Prabhupada's desires are very powerful. So, like this, Krishna's manifestation in various forms, we coming in touch with it, living entities coming in touch with it, is important. And so, Srimad Bhagavatam is a sound representation of the Lord. Is simultaneously explained in 4 verses and in 4 billion verses. So beautiful, this statement. All the same, in as much as the Lord is smaller than the atom and bigger than the unlimited sky. Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan. This is Upanishad statement. The Lord is smaller than the smallest. is bigger than the biggest. So in the same way, its description can be in 4 verses or 4 billion verses. Such is the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam. So nice Prabhupada's explanation, purports. So nice these Bhagavatam verses. We'll stop here. Grantaraj Shri. One question. Yes, Harinam Prabhu.
How this is expansion? Because the facts are the same, like the stories of Krishna and all the pastimes of different kings. So if the 4 verses didn't have all this, then how this is expansion? Because this is also reality.
Correct. Number 1, the 4 verses has all these. That's why it is saying it is Dasalakshanam. Next, Bhagavatam is going to point out. Shukadev Goswami is going to point. This is Shukadev's next chapter is Shuka Uvacha. And then he begins to explain that there are 10 subject matters we must understand. Sarga, Visarga, Isha, Isha Katha, Ashraya, etc. So 10 subject matters. So it is there in the 4 verses of the Bhagavatam. Isha Katha is also there. We have to unpack it. We have to unbox it. It is there. And that is why the great devotees who have understood this begin to expand that. Just like how Prabhupada has expanded this 1 4-line shloka into so many sentences in English. And how Prabhupada is connecting this to the representation of the Lord and the sound and expansion and linking it with how Anoraniyan, Mahato Mahiyan is also linked to this. So this is the art of expansion which great devotees do, like Srila Prabhupada Acharyas do. Like Rupa Goswami is describing, these are the 6 characteristics of Shuddha Bhakti. Rupa Goswami is writing, Utsaha, Nischaya, this is Upadesha. One must have, and Prabhupada often talks about enthusiasm. See, that Pritaha, that includes enthusiasm. So, like this it is there, and with realization, with sadhana, with purity, Lord will manifest and enable the devotee to expand this knowledge. So that expansion is by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, not because of one's erudition. Such an understanding must be there on the part of the devotee. Yes?
How we take commission like this, you told about this professional Bhagavatam.
How we take commission? We sing, we give class, we chant, we do different things, and then we are thinking, now how in my spiritual community, in my society of devotees, how people will appreciate, hey, you sang very nicely. And we feel, good, we are taking commission. Instead of a pure intention, my singing was just to please the Lord. I sang to please the Lord. I did chanting to please the Lord. I'm doing my service to please the Lord, not to get some material benefit, either from the institution or from the other devotees in the organization, the temple. These are all subtle desires which keep coming up. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that these are all the weeds that will grow, and there is unlimited weeds that can grow. Puja, Pratishtha, Labha, Kutinati, all these kind of things. Diplomacy, for getting some personal benefit. So, hence, we have to keep doing our sadhana so that Cheto Darpanamarjanam happens and we become better and better devotees. That should be the desire of the devotee. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam